Welcome back, tribe. Got an interesting one here. It's about Return to the Land, a group of white-only community in Arkansas. Our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
Over the last year and a half, high up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, leveling the land, building houses. They call it an intentional community based around shared ancestry, a long-winded way of saying something really quite simple.
I think we would generally be called far right, sure.
It's called Return to the Land, and they invited me in.
A lot of people are going to be, why are you making Nazi references?
Right.
Well, why wouldn't I?
A seemingly bucolic and sometimes surreal experience. But this is built on a radical modern premise, made possible because of a new political and technological moment, one with strong ties to the most active far-right groups in the US. Instead of taking to the streets, they are building their own, for generations to come.
I mean, who wouldn't have seen this coming after the demonization of white people? It's okay to be racist to white people. It's okay to hate white people. You think it's a surprise now when white people are starting to make their own communities and don't want anybody else in there? Is it really a shock? This is like, actions, consequences. Very simple.
And for me to do those for my ancestors, my friends, my family, my children, my children's children.
Yeah, for every action, there's a reaction.
State, people who have lived through segregation once fear it is returning.
When you hear things like that, it causes you to be fearful and you don't know who to trust.
Of course. I just want to explain to you guys how they paint this narrative of like, oh my God, white people evil. They're doing it here too, because it makes a lot of people nervous when whites just want their own community. But then, the hypocrisy is this.
We are the buying power. If we can just teach each other to circulate our dollars within the community, we will solve our own problem. We are literally the answer to our own problems, but we have to change our thinking and come together.
19 black families purchased 96 acres of land in Georgia to develop a safe place for black people. It ended up getting, 100,000 views or more across a bunch of millions of views technically across all channels. And they got Chinatown in every major city along with Little Mexico. So y'all hating can go kick rocks. This is what black churches should have been doing for years instead of pimping black dollars. I am in love with your vision and it truly inspires me. I wish all of you so much success. I want to invest in this. Keep in mind, this is the black community saying this. We need to continue this movement. Different towns and states, unite. Let's work. Okay? Y'all can hate all y'all want to hate. They're still going to do it. And I'm surely going with all my family members. Whoever said this is racist, only a non-black person would say that. Where can I support? They also need a black military or some type of black police force so they won't be harmed by violent outsiders. Keep these comments and energy in mind as we switch back to the other video. First, we'll continue with this. And I have no problem with them building their own community. Please go ahead. Why not? Give me an argument against this. They're not forcing people to separate. This is just something you opt into.
My name is Renee Walters, and I am the president of the Freedom Georgia Initiative. I have a black husband. I have a black son. Every time he would leave out for work or just to go to the store or anything, I would have a sense of anxiety just from watching everything that we've been going through lately with the pandemic and watching our black men being murdered on national television in front of everybody. It kind of just all shook us by storm. It's now time for us to get our friends and family together and build for ourselves. That's the only way we'll be safe. That's the only way that this will work. We have to start bringing each other together. Well, we are looking to get amenities on the land. We want to have a place where you can have weddings.
You can't hear it though. You can't hear it, but they're playing like happy-go-lucky music for this piece. I have it disabled for, copyright purposes. But this is an uplifting beat, empowering, as opposed to what we would hear in the original of the other one.
We'll have tiny homes. We really just want you to come and hang out and feel safe. You don't have to worry about the Karens of the world and anything like that. You just come and have fun.
You don't have to worry about the Karens of the world. Like this doublespeak for white people. Right? Come on. Listen, the other video will do the same shit. We just want to live in our own community with whites in peace, away from who? Away from what? Away from the crime? What do you think? Who do they talk about when they say crime and shit like that? Just from their perspective. It's the same thing, but only one gets negative news coverage. Why? This is what I'm pointing at here. It is the double standard that is causing the radicalization of white people.
A sportsman area with fishing, hunting, shooting range, ATV trails. We really just want to build a tight knit community for our people to just come and breathe together.
Our
I know they
people.
have a bad stigma that, oh, Black people can't come together, but just like how Black Wall Street, their dollars circulated around 11 times before it left the community. And that's just something we want to bring back. We want to encourage businesses to come and we want to circulate our dollar within the community before it leads out to someone else. We want to make everybody in our areas wealthy. But every time we go to the land and in the actual cities, like we haven't received any backlash. Everyone is really nice and welcoming.
Would you look at that?
It's the internet trolls, the negativity in the world, like, oh, you guys are going to fail. Isn't this segregation? This is not what Martin Luther King stood for. And it's not us segregating ourselves. It's just we're building where we can come and be safe. Like Chinatown has these areas. You go up and down Buford Highway. You can't even read some of the signs because it's not in our language and nobody has a problem. And why is it that when we want to build, we're considered racist or we're segregating ourselves?
God damn. Pot calling the kettle black. Imagine. So she's making literally the same argument this other guy is going to make, but the tone of the media is completely different.
So why can't we have our own safe haven? Every community has them.
I'm saying, sis, I'm with you 100%. Why? Why not? Why not separate yourselves? If it's from your own volition, nobody's forcing you. There's no government that's making you march across. You pick where you want to live. Let people form their own communities with whoever they want to form. If you want to live, and stand out amongst others and be completely different because you like that, it's fresh for you, go ahead. Nobody is stopping you, literally nobody. But when people start to form their own communities and go, you know what, we feel safer when we're with our own kind for obvious reasons. I can never relate to a Black family, what it's like growing up as a man, a Black man, and the issues Black people deal with. And I can't relate on that deeper level. I didn't grow up in that, the little nuances of being Black in America and, the cultural, what could you call it? Realities of day-to-day life. That stuff is missing, just like they can't really empathize with my situation. They can't relate on that deeper, granular level because we're not raised the same. Our culture is different. The mentality of the people are different. The history of where we come from is different. Our hair is different. Our skin is different. We do a bunch of things differently. I don't put coconut oil, baby oil, all that crazy shit, all day, every day. I have different hair. It gets cut differently. I have different issues. You know what I mean? We're even supposed to get treated differently when we go to the doctor because, certain populations, certain ethnicities have things like higher blood pressure, or random things like that you wouldn't know, but it exists. So like medication needs to be given slightly different to depending on, your ethnicity and shit like that. We have these differences. It's not bad. It's great to be unique. It's cool to be different. But I think what people are really tired of is the double standards, the gaslighting, and being told that we should cover our eyes, that there's nothing wrong and there's nothing to see here, and the world is like a blank place, and that you somehow should reject your own kind and that you wouldn't feel safe around your own people. I mean, that's complete bullshit. Why do you think there is Chinatown? Why do you think we have Black neighborhoods, white neighborhoods, Hispanic neighborhoods? Why do you think people just naturally, you don't even call it segregation, but just naturally create communities of their own kind? That's where we're most comfortable. Those are the people we could relate to the most. That human experience is most relatable to those directly in your culture. And this goes into subsections too. It's not just Black, white, this and that. It's also like certain Hispanics, for example, or certain Africans, like a Nigerian and someone from Ghana will have a difference in the way of life. They're both African, but the people from Ghana want to hang out with people from Ghana. Nigerians want to hang out with Nigerians. Same shit with Europeans. Like a Brit wants to hang out with other Brits. Me, an Eastern European, might want to hang out with other Eastern Europeans, like Romanian. Ukrainians want to hang out with Ukrainians. Serbs want to hang out with Serbs. But these are all white people. But they still form their own communities. There's Serbian communities. There's Croatian. There's Romanian communities within America. But they're all white. Same shit, man. And so we split ourselves down to that granular detail of even the culture and the ethnicity and the piece of land you came from. It's only natural that people start to do this stuff because we were told we're all supposed to mix, but we have our own wants, we have our own needs, and our own self-interest that we put above other groups just by being, the apes that we are, the in-group preferences that people don't want to talk about. Of course, a black person should want to have, or at least prioritize politics, finances, the rule of law, all that for blacks. Duh. Because that's his unique point of view in life, and that affects him the most. Just like I would want to have that same point of view tailored and molded to my life and my experiences. The point is, when you're living amongst each other together, that you want to have a system that's fair for everybody, but that doesn't give special privileges to some people. So what are some special privileges today? The historical ones we already know, but today it's like DEI. Right? It's just simply for your skin color or what you identify as gets you perks in the world. Or, if, for example, if you're Jewish, you're considered a minority group, so you get special grants and loans and discounts for starting businesses and going to college. And same shit, there's stuff for blacks for that too, Hispanics, Latinos in general, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, why don't we just do away with all of that? And because whites don't have that, for example, and whites can't speak up about something like this. And, and that's where the slippery slope starts, and people start, like, the tension begins. It's like, hey, bro, we can't even have an honest conversation because you're being babied by society. Like, systemically, you're given a leg up just to be able to compete with. For example, like, Asians do very well in school, very well. They come from highly academic minded families who make sure that they perform very well on SATs, all that stuff, and they get boned. They get reverse discriminated on. Otherwise, our colleges would be filled with Asian kids because they're so performant because of their family structure. And so we make less Asian kids who have like perfect GPAs go to our premier schools, and then we bring up kids that come from disadvantaged backgrounds, basically poor black and brown people. Let's just fucking call it what it is, liberals. With like horrendous grades and SATs, but it's like we need diversity on campus. So literally our best and our brightest don't get in, and then we bring up people that shouldn't be there because they're disadvantaged, the bigotry of soft or low expectations, the soft bigotry, right? Because liberals are the most racist people you'll ever meet. All they see is skin color, and they try to equalize the system based on the color of your skin. It's the very definition of a racist. What these people are doing, I would say, argue it would be more of a conservative framing of the mentality. Hey, bro, I bought a private piece of land, may or may not turn into a town one day, depending on the amount of people that live here. And we just want to live amongst our own. You are not banned from coming here, visiting here, transacting with us. If we need something, you provide a value. But the people that live here, we want to maintain and vet and make sure that they have our shared culture, values, and experiences in life. Nobody can really argue about this, and I don't think there's a legal precedent to stop this from happening in the way that it is. And I think because America is splintering so much, not just politically, but everybody is in their own little box. Thank you, liberals, for the massive amount of victimization and, victim blaming points and tribalizing everybody into a little category. That this is now starting to happen. This is becoming the reality. When I grew up in America in the 90s, dude, it was normal. It didn't matter what color your skin was. We were all kind of in this fucking pot together, and we needed to help each other get to better positions in life. Excuse me. This entire like race obsessed shit didn't happen until the last really like 10 years, because really the last 10 years, Democrats have been incessant on seeing everything through the lens of color.
Everyone is welcome in freedom, but it is basically based on seeing Black people flourish. And that's all we want, because every time we somebody tried to burn it down.
And good. I agree with her. I'm for this 100%. As a white man myself, I love to see this. I like to see strong Black families. I want to see intact nuclear Black families, and I want to see them succeed amongst their own and then on a more global scale. If they can scale up their businesses, if they can make sure they teach themselves, get out of the hood, get out of the ghetto mentality, the fucking CIA funded slop that's destroyed the Black community and Black fathers, make your own. Reject the system. Isolate yourselves in that sense. and then build up your community so you can give your black sons and daughters a chance to succeed in the world. I'm for that. That's a positive message. There's nothing negative you can say about this. I agree with it. Now, when white people do it, then it's a problem.
Its founder says he is building a fortress for the white race.
It's a racial association. I kind of want to ask you, after seeing this, do you think what we're doing is immoral?
Arkansas, in the southern United States. For the last few years, I've been exploring how an ethno-nationalist movement has been organizing online. A network that aims to define countries by ethnicity, but which links across borders. And this is the place that one group has chosen to put that into radical, real-world action.
You want a white nation? Build a white town. It can be done, and we're doing it.
It is an extreme view.
Nazi!
It draws on more familiar arguments. That mass immigration is out of control, that Western societies are in danger of losing their fundamental character as a result.
So one of the arguments here is that this isn't about persecution of an ethnic identity, but protection of an ethnic identity. And that identity happens to be white. So we're going here now up into these pretty remote woods to really put that to the test.
We are driving deep into the Ozark mountain. Group's leaders are not from Arkansas.
I think it's kind of a little fishy around.
Eric Orr.
Hey, Eric.
He insists what he is doing here is entirely legal. And that's key. Because if it is, it could be a blueprint for many other communities to come.
Welcome to the Ozarks.
Thank you very much.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture. Yeah, not just white, but white American.
But what this sounds
You
like
see?
is bringing back segregation. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, I mean, it's
He already said white American culture, not just white. So in order for you to go there, you must adhere to American values, traditionally white Christian values, most likely. So that excludes Europeans.
free association. So we're not trying to keep other people down. This is a small settlement in the middle of the Ozarks
But they are being kept hands.
you don't let everyone into your home.
160 acres taking shape, forest cleared, roads laid, cabins built. Around 40 people live here.
Damn. Okay.
Hundreds more from across the world have paid to be members. And I'm intrigued to find out what motivates people to give up their old lives for this.
We met here.
Oh, you met here? I guess he came here.
I met her on like day 3. So.
Oh my God, what a story. It beats Tinder, doesn't it?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well,
David and Caitlin not only met here, they got married last month. They
Wow.
wouldn't be here without social media.
somebody had posted a video of Eric.
Yeah.
I saw videos of them actually building stuff on the land. I was like, oh man, I gotta come check this out.
And I figure if there's nothing else like this in the country, like it should at least exist.
Yeah.
Like, do people really think that we should never be able to choose our neighbors?
It wouldn't be controversial for any other racial group to do the same thing.
I think it'd be quite controversial.
Well, if you don't have rules against it.
I think it would be quite controversial. We just watched the video where mainstream media was pushing that as positive messaging.
Then, anyone of any race can come and be your neighbor. And they're watching the news, which is telling you that white people are, the cause of all your problems and all the ills of society. And suddenly, your children are much less safe because there's a lot of violence, anti-white violence happening to white people and white children. And so...
Specifically sort of motivated by racism against white people. What sort of things the heavens are about to...
Yeah.
I'd like to continue talking, but the rain starts and it comes down hard. This is how the average weekend works at Return to the Land, or RTTL, what they call a work party, made up of residents, but also new recruits who have come to check out the project. It is hot, hard work. To join RTTL, you have to sign up to the Private Members Association, or PMA. And there are strict criteria for membership, as Scott Thomas, a board member and one of the founding fathers here, explains.
You have to be a PMA member to live here.
Yeah.
So you have to be someone of European heritage,
The group's logo, based on a Nordic rune, draws on that heritage. It is the PMA that the group believes makes this all legal. Once members have been vetted on ethnicity and other grounds, they can buy shares in the Limited Liability Company, or LLC. Those shares translate to acres of land that they can build on. Peter Seri is the brains behind the legal side of things.
Yeah. Civil Rights Act is there for a reason, and this is a way around it.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll survive contact with the legal system, the courts, if it came to that?
Hopefully.
Do you think it's racist or not? Do you reject that term? Do you embrace it?
I don't know about that term. I mean, people use it in a lot of different ways. I'm sure there's a lot of people on the internet who would call me racist. I don't really know or care whether that term applies to me or not. Maybe.
Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I almost don't know what racist means anymore. You call it racist.
There's a prejudice towards someone who's from a different ethnicity.
Well, actually, the modern definition of racism, according to critical race theory, all white people are racist automatically.
A lot of this is reaction to
Good point.
left-wing identity politics, critical race theory, and movements like Black Lives Matter. And fundamentally, this is identity politics, but white identity politics. And what they're building here is a safe space for people of European ancestry.
It's exclusionary. It's sort of an attempt at segregation. Is that fair?
Probably.
While the men labour at the roadside, the women of Return to the Land are at work too, looking after the 6 children who live and are homeschooled here full-time. And they're preparing food for the weekly community dinner. The theme tonight, colonial.
And dinner's really important. I like feeding people.
And I think one of the comments said, so this is like being Amish without being Amish.
So I didn't want to put this off on a long day that I already had.
Back in the day, when we first...
It being loving, I suppose the counter argument would be, it could be a very loving community if you're part of a community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do. And I think that's great for them. If other people are allowed to do it, I don't really see why whites aren't allowed to do it. It doesn't make any sense.
But the goal is to have lots of these communities and for it maybe not to be rural, for there to be cities on the same basis, right?
Yeah, that would be neat. I look forward to seeing how this movement grows over time.
There are other ways to increase numbers. Nikki, Caitlin, and Alison all met their partners at the community.
Wow.
And RTTL is explicit about this. It has an online fundraiser to give cash rewards to parents of newborns as a means to incentivize population growth. Just before we arrived, they had donated $1,000 to a family for having their 6th child.
Is that part of the mission as well, to sort of have big families, to make the community bigger? Is there a sort of pressure there?
I don't think so.
I don't feel particularly myself, I don't feel any pressure to like have a big family. I think there's a kind of expectation here that you do want to as part of helping grow this thing that you're going to have kids.
There's not a lot to show around here. I basically just have the whole pasture area.
Peter is unattached. This is his homestead. He's been on a journey. He told me he used to be a liberal, a hippie even.
Your knife is a tool. It has to be very sharp.
Unlike the members of Return to the Land, she is Arkansas born and bred. For the first 15 years of her life, she lived under segregation.
We could not go to school together. We couldn't eat together. We couldn't do everyday things together. Each day that you leave your home, you were under rejection.
And Pat had hoped those days had gone.
When you hear things like that, it causes you to be fearful, and you don't know who to trust.
When I explain what Return to the Land is doing, just half an hour's drive away, she's not so sure. And in her eyes, there's one main reason for that.
And I feel like that's the change of, and I'm just going to say, I think it's the change of our presidency. That's what
You see, blaming everybody but the actual problem. It's the presidency's fault, right? Trump's fault is not the Democrats' fault. It's not that cost of living is out of control. It's not that crime is rampant, especially in the black community. You know, it's none of these things that all have come together to turn society into complete shit, where you have to watch your back when you go outside. Homeless people, drug addicts everywhere, gangs everywhere. We can't do anything anymore in a safe environment. People are getting robbed, shot, stabbed, jugged. All this dumb shit is happening everywhere, in the big cities especially. All the Democrat-run cities have caused this. It's safer in the more rural or conservative side of the states. But no, it's totally clearly the fault of blonde man who came into the this is why it's really hard to sit down at the table and meet somewhere in the middle, because every group is going to have a different person or thing or an idea which they place the blame on, instead of saying, I think we've had a hand in this ourselves. We're kind of all to blame here collectively, and we need to own our shit that stinks and fix the problem. That's what we need to do. But we won't. So we're going to keep separating, because the ignorance on all sides is going to keep growing. Some of these communities, for example, the black ones, the Latino ones, the white ones, whatever, that starts sprouting up if this framework actually survives getting sued and survives the court system, a lot of them will be benign, but there will be malignant elements in all of them. There will be a pro-black, black supremacy style community that pops up that wants absolutely zero association with any other race. There's the same will happen for whites, same will happen for Asians, the same will happen for Latino. It's going to happen for every little community, and we'll keep getting segmented down. And I don't think the government even cares, because if I'm the government, if I'm in the halls of power, I love this. This is great. This is great, dude. Usher in the new techno-feudalism. Let people separate themselves, because divided they all fall. The rights will keep going down the wayside. The government becomes increasingly authoritarian, increasingly big daddy, and will watch you. Basically, every single aspect of your life will get recorded. I mean, they're already implementing these systems with Palantir. So, I don't know. This is just essentially the plebs and the normal people responding to failure of the government, which may be purposely implemented, or, if you want to go with the other route, pure incompetence. You know, is it corruption? Is it malice? Or is it incompetence? I don't know. Regardless, the people are taking actions into their own hands, separating this manner. And this is only going to lead to further division and further erosion of our rights. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out. Well, what are some of the comments? I love that a liberal reporter unknowingly created a free recruitment infomercial for this organization. There can be black communities, Asian, Jews, mixed. Let people live how they choose. There is nothing wrong with wanting to be around others who share common ancestry. In fact, this yields peace and harmony. I can confirm firsthand that when I came to Eastern Europe and lived in Romania, I saw with my own eyes the so-called peace and harmony, the brotherhood, the kinship that people have. It's just different. There's a whole, we're all in this together, we're all one people mentality. I'm sure the people in Poland could tell you the same thing. I'm sure the people in other communities that haven't been dumped on by mass migration will tell you the same thing. To have minorities, not a problem if they're minorities. Here and there, one or two, that's fine, and it doesn't disturb the status quo. But when you have mass migration, it's demographic replacement on a huge scale that changes quite literally changes the racial makeup of a community, and it's no longer the same community because they don't want to tell you. We have in-group preferences. Just look at how America's structured. Anyways, yeah, this whole can of worms, we could get into this on a live stream if you guys want to. Let me know what you think. Someone says, as a black man seeing this is absolutely fine. The bad thing is people speaking for us claiming we have an issue when we don't, as long as there's no violence. Yeah, someone said it's a private property. He could do what he wants with it. Sky News would never fly out a camera crew to report on this if they were any other ethnicity. And then this woman said, this is not segregation. This is separation. There is a huge difference. Freedom of association, huh? All right. We'll see how this pans out. Anyways, see you guys on the next one.